Imagine yourself at the end of a long day. You relax in your warm bed with your comfortable pillow surrounded by love. Now take away the love and the security and insert cold and fear. For a lot of the teens, night is a time of terror and survival. They wait for it to end. And then we ask them to go to school and sit alongside our kids in the classrooms and listen to the same teacher and do the same homework. In other words, mission impossible. Eden is a 16-year-old girl. She locks herself in the bathroom every night until 3 a.m. when she is sure that her mother's boyfriend is sleeping, so she can go to her bed without him hurting her. Hi, everybody. My name is Avital, and for the past 17 years, since I opened Susan's House, I've been working with youth at risk. Who do we work with at Susan's House? We all know that youth at risk is a worldwide problem. We all see them in the parks, in our communities. But we at Susan's House prefer to focus with at-risk families. Those kids that don't have a role model, they don't have guardians, and they don't have money in their families. Their ages are 15 to 18. We work with boys and girls, Jewish and Arabs. If they are in the streets, we accept them. When you work with youth at risk, we found out that you have two main challenges. The first one is that they have no life skills, in other words, life skills that we would like them to have in order to not just survive, but also succeed in the outside normative society. It's very obvious. They didn't learn it from anybody. They didn't see their father. Most of the time, the father is gone. A lot of the time, when they wake up in the morning, the mother is still asleep, or maybe she is a sole provider and she went to work very early, or maybe she is still drunk or on drugs. The other challenge, other than life skills, that is most of the kids, they don't believe in themselves. We found out that when they come to us, they say, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. And the reason for that is usually because they tend to blame themselves for everything bad that happens in their families. They would say things like, it's my fault that my father ran away. It's my fault that my father used to beat my mother. Because I didn't want to do homework, my mother drinks. We all know that it's not true, but this is how they grew up. When we raise our kids, we usually encourage them a lot and we praise them. And even if they fall, we say, never mind, go on, you can do it. And we smile to them. And this is how they get self-confidence. Youth at risk usually do not have self-confidence. They don't believe in themselves. And this is a real challenge when you work with them. So how do we both give them self-esteem? We want to teach them to believe in themselves and also teach them the life skills. We at Susan's House open workshops. In the workshops, the kids create art. But not only that, they work in a comfortable environment, in a protected environment. They know that it's their home. They work in a kind of a family. They work together. They present their products to people who come to their place. We open the visitor center and they sell it for them. So thus they both develop the life skills, the work skills, and the self-confidence. As I'm sure that you all saw in the movie before the presentation. About a year ago, the government has asked the Brookdale Research Institute to make research on our alumni, kids who finished Susan's House between 3 to 6 years ago. Those kids are now between 20 to 24 years old. They found out that amazingly, 98% of these kids are in some kind of a work. as opposed to 67% of the regular populations. When we go in Israel at the age of 18 after school, most kids go to the army or to do national service. We found out that the kids of Susan's house are about the same percentage of going to the army and to national service. And mind you, these are kids that to begin with were dropouts. They were in the streets. When being asked, what did Susan's house give you? A lot of them said that it gave them desire to succeed in life, to move on. It gave them understanding that they can do it, they can make it. The results were so fascinating that we got a lot of attention from the government and from other mayors, others than Jerusalem, that want us to open Susan's house's branches in their places. We also have a big foundation called IVN, Israeli Venture Network, that was made to begin with by high-tech people, a lot of them from the Silicon Valley, that also got a lot of interest in Susan's house model and want to help us to open other branches. So what's our business model? Today, most of the money, about 60% of the money of Susan's house, both in Jerusalem and in the newest branch that we opened in Eilat, that's in the south of Israel, comes from the government and the municipality, about 60%, and it's guaranteed for the whole year. We also make about 33% from sales of the products that the kids were making, and about 7% comes from donors. What's our initiatives for the next years? So first of all, we want to expand within Israel. There is, as I said before, there's a lot of demand. About 30% of the kids in Israel are considered to be at risk, and the Israeli government wants us to open other branches. We also want to establish in the US a sales chain and also fundraising presence. We get a lot of groups. Only in 2017, we had more than 3,300 visitors from the US that came to Jerusalem and saw Susan's house. A lot of them, when they go back to the US, they say, we want to keep on helping you. We want to buy your products, but we need the way to market our products. It can be through the internet, it could be through people in the US, and this is what we want to establish. And last, we also want to globally expand. There are a lot of people, especially those who come and visit Susan's house, they say, how about opening a Susan's house in our country or in our city? This is another thing that we want to do in the next years. So far, Susan's house is, as I said before, exists for the past 17 years, since 2002, actually 16 years. And we opened, 4 years ago, we opened another branch in Eilat. And at 2018, we are about to open 2 more branches together with the government and 2 mayors in the center of Israel and with IVN. What do we want to do in the US? First of all, we want to increase our revenues. We want to sell more products of the kids, thus lessening the government dependability. We won't have to depend on the government and on the municipality, and we'll be able to get more kids. And thus, of course, creating greater stability. We estimate that to develop this presence in the US, we'll need about 180K for the first 2 years. And we think that in about year or a year and a half, we start seeing money come back from this investment. The other things that we want to do is, first of all, we want to create an operating manual for Susan's house. So when we open another branch, we get this manual, we give it to the manager and the staff, and we start work with them about how to develop their Susan's house in their location. Of course, it may work in a little bit different way. It may create other products other than what we do. For instance, in Jerusalem, we do high stuff, we do art, but in Eilat, we work mainly with restaurants because there's a lot of restaurants and we are self-sustained there just from selling to the restaurants. The second thing that we want to do is we want to develop a replication model so that when we go to another place, we'll have this model and it'll start work right away. As you can see, this is our board of director. Actually, we have more board of director. I didn't put them here because I didn't have enough space on the slide. We start from the left. Rachel used to be a HR manager in Converse. It's a 6,000 people company. Yair, who is one of my mentors and also in my board of director, was marketing manager in the US for Intel company. Jackie teaches business entrepreneurship in the Tel Aviv Business University and also work for IVN. And Yaakov is our chairman. He used to be the CEO of the Israeli telecom company and is now a private businessman doing a lot of retail businesses. You can see my picture at the bottom. Thank you very much for watching the movie and my presentation. I would love to help and answer your questions. And thank you very much for your time and attention. Bye-bye.